Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. I'm at Maple Fest. It's a board game convention, and talking to a few others who are designing board games, not the AIs, but just the games themselves. And I'm gonna be collaborating with this one game designer to see if AI can adjust some of the game and see how that turns out. And it's one of those moments that life is somewhat good again, but it could be better for me. And I was thinking about two different things that not necessarily are in conflict, but I got a fork in the road that I have to decide on, right? Lately, I've been really speaking up for myself at these board game meetups because I really feel like I have nothing to lose. I'm not playing any of my favorite games. Nobody wants to play Ticket to Ride Berlin with me. I'm angry about some of these people harassing me over differences in life. I really have nothing to lose. And so I'm not afraid of speaking up for myself now. And it hasn't turned out that badly. The other day, I almost got kicked out of a meetup that was held in a restaurant because I would go there and not order anything because of food allergies. And I spoke up for myself, and I made the guy embarrass himself, saying that it's not the problem with the restaurant that you have all these allergies and just don't come. And I let him run his mouth because I knew he was embarrassing himself. And I wasn't afraid of losing that meetup. That's why I allowed myself to do that. Had that happened in a workplace, right? Imagine my boss saying, don't come here if you're going to be allergic and not allow people to eat around you. And that might have been different because I can't as easily afford to lose my job as I could afford to lose the meetup, right? And it gave me a chance to practice because sooner or later it's going to happen at work, right? The more I practice with it, the more I get comfortable with what to say, what not to say, the better, right? So I'm not going to be afraid to play with this anymore. So that's good. But there are two other things that I want to work on over the next couple of months. The first one is I have a relatively good living situation. I'm living in a hostel. I get along with the owner. I get along with everybody in there. You know, I've been at other hostels before where it hasn't turned out that way, right? People leave dirty dishes in the sink. I'm so glad I was able to talk to a couple of roommates who left dirty dishes in the sink. And even when I'm not able to do that, I'm so glad that I'm taking it in stride, that I can put on some gloves and do the dishes, as long as my gloves don't also disappear, right? I had a problem just like that in another hostel where I wanted to take care of the dishes, but I couldn't even keep my gloves. People would lose them, hide them, take them, steal them, whatever the situation is. But there is one minor complaint, and it makes me wonder if I should even move out of the place. I'm a little disheartened at the social environment of the place. Nobody talks to each other. And my first instinct was maybe I'll shop around and find another hostel that is a little bit more social. But then I realized that if I get unlucky and find one where I actually do have real conflict with my roommates, you know, a living situation where you're constantly in conflict with your roommates is kind of like a cancer in your life. It spreads to other conflicts in your life, right? You go to work and you feel all wound up from just dealing with your roommates. You mess up your work relations, and it quickly spreads to all areas of your life, right? I don't want to risk that. So what I'm thinking of doing is still window shop at different places to live, and then start to actually communicate with my roommates and hope that the communication with the roommates work out, but have other backup plans. That's what I'm hoping to do over the coming 3 months. There was another issue that could use some improvement that I'm so glad I dealt with the board game, and now I feel so confident about actually tackling these things. The other thing is I'm having a hard time thinking about the concept of taking some vacation at my job, and not because I'm not getting any vacation time. The problem is that I would think about, okay, next month, what day am I going to call off? But then I would go to work and have a real good time at work, right? I teach at Phoenix College, and I get along with everybody there. And my boss is not perfect, obviously, but she's the best boss that I've had all career long, in 17 years, right, if you include my PhD work. And the last thing I want to do is to call out. And I would go to work and, oh my God, there's no way I'm going to call out. But I would get home and realize, oh my God, there's other things I want to do with my life. It makes me wish I could take my work with me, right? If I could go to Gdańsk, Poland, and drag all of my work with me. Just the other day, there's a lot of news about the potential of a recession. And I'm thinking to myself, gee, if there's a recession and, if it's not my choice and I have to be in between jobs, that's not the end of the world. At least I could use that time to do stuff that. But then I remembered colleges go opposite of recession. I need a boom where people stop going back to school, right? Not a recession. And then I remembered that we might have another COVID wave, and then I could really take my work with me to Gdańsk, Poland. Although the time zones might make things a little bit tricky, right? So I'll have to think about that. I love work and I love to play too. And I have good roommates, but I don't want to jeopardize that. But at the same time, I need to be meeting some future life partners. Those are two problems that I plan to solve in the coming months. This is the Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum.